Wondering whether you have swayback or not, or maybe have no idea what swayback is. And by the end of this video, you will learn what swayback is and then how to improve it if you have one. You might also be interested in my previous video. I put the link down below. If you want to learn how to retrain your body and then movement safely and then effectively and then move better, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every week. I am Taro Iwamoto. I am a Feldenkrais practitioner. With my backgrounds in athletic training, physical therapy, martial arts, and the Feldenkrais method, I have helped many people like you overcome and then move beyond the pain and the limitations. Now it's your turn, and let's dive in. Sway back is a posture where your knees are hyperextended and then your pelvis is shifted forward and your body sways back to compensate. And in the pelvis, it may be in anterior pelvic tilt or maybe in a posterior pelvic tilt. So that is, and basically this posture is a series of compensation. And it's the body's effort to maintain balance and uprightness against the gravity. And what's the effect of the sway back posture over time? So if you adapt this posture, right, and you're basically not using a skeletal support and for your weight, and you're hyperextending, you're locking your knees, and then you're not really stacking up the bones to support that weight, and over time those ligaments and become lax and overstretched. And same with the hips, and you're pushing the hips and forward, anterior part of the hips, and being constantly elongated and stretched. And if you do that over time, months and years, and of course these tissues and the ligaments and capsules and the muscles and tendons, they all become elongated, and that's not good over time, right? Ideally, you want to align your spine, your skeleton, to support the weight, because the bones are really, really strong and designed to bear weight. Right? So if you're stuck in your bones, one bone on top of the other ones, and then very strong, all the body weight, and you can do that without really stressing joints too much, without really overstretching the ligaments or the tendons. So that's more ideal. And so that's the effects. And so the people with a sway back posture, it tends to be very lax or hypermobile in multiple joints, especially the knees and the hips, some parts of the hips, right? The ligaments here and the lower back, because they're constantly in that position, posture. So that's the effect of sway back posture. So from biomechanical standpoint, it's probably not ideal, and to adapt that for as a normal standing posture. So what can we do about it? So let's do a simple movement retraining exercise to fix a sway back posture. I'm going to break this exercise into two parts. So first, starting on your knees, kneeling positions. If you have a sensitive knees, use the padding underneath. So why kneeling? Well, because there are fewer parts that you can compensate, right? So in the kneeling, the sway back posture would look like this, right? So the hips forward and the body sways back. So here's an exercise, quite simple. What you're going to do is you're going to move your hips, your sit bones back towards the heels. You don't have to go all the way down, just partially, going about halfway, okay? And then from here, and thinking about pushing the head to the ceiling, up, right? Here, halfway, and coming up. And to do that, it might help you to think about directing your knees down. You're pushing your knees down into the floor to push yourself upward vertically. And then returning, partial sitting and coming up. In here, in here. So basically this is the squat patterns, right? In kneeling, you are training your bodies to be more vertical, upright, so that you are aligning your bones and stacking your bones so that weight bearing through the skeletons, through the spine and the pelvis. So the spine on top of the pelvis, and then your thighs, femurs are vertical as opposed to going forward like that. So there isn't really much support here, right, through the bones, as you are assuming that sway back posture. That's not going to feel very comfortable over time. But you train yourself and to be more stuck, so that you're weight bearing through the bones, through the skeletons. You have much more structural support. It's much more efficient. Right? So that's the first part. And once you're able to do that quite well, and then now you're going to stand up. And what you're going to do is basically doing the partial squats, right? So moving the hips back. But you're not really doing it in full squats. You don't have to. You're just training, getting into this position, and then pushing through your feet, and then stacking up your bones. So your femurs are vertical, and your pelvis it comes right on top of the femur, as opposed to you throwing the pelvis forward directions. Then you lose that skeletal support, and you're moving into the habitual sway back posture. Right? Getting into the partial squat positions by moving the hips, pelvis back a little bit, down and back a little bit, and then from here, pushing through the feet. Okay, now you're getting up, you're moving upward directions, okay? So everything comes right on top. But as you come straight and vertical, you're not going to completely extend your knees. You're not going to hyperextend your knees. You're going to stop right before. So the knees remain slightly flexed, because you're so used to locking out your knees, and then you go back into that sway back posture. So practice and training, and to organize your bones and skeletons vertically so that you can support your weight through the bones, not through your ligaments. Not very healthy for the joint, for the ligaments. Sway back. Okay, sway back meaning weight bearing through this passive structures, your ligaments, all the soft tissues, versus skeletal weight bearing, okay, coming out, active stance. So I'm stacking up the bones. There's not much effort to support my weight because the bones are stuck one on top of the other one. I have a very good support. I'm good. All right, so comment below what you think of this exercise, this retraining. Did that help you? And you find that helpful to practice from the kneeling, and it was hard to transition to standing. And for most people, I imagine it would be harder to practice in standing, so that's why spend a lot of time in practicing and being able to actually to organize your skeletons and more vertically in the kneeling positions. And once you master that, then moving on to the standing, then you can apply it so that you can train yourself out of habitual sway back posture, and it starts to actually use your skeletons more efficiently, and so that your back will feel much more comfortable. All right, so that your knees are going to feel much more comfortable, so that your hips are going to feel much more comfortable. And that's it. If you want to improve your back pain, be sure to grab your free movement guide to pain-free back at the link below. Check out these videos, and if you like this video, and hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe and share with your friends. Comment below how helpful you found this video was. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Happy mindful movement. Bye-bye.